Hi everyone, and welcome to another pro user interview. My name's Kevin, lead product educator here at Zenler, and we're running a series of interviews with pro and premium users of Zenler to find out exactly how are they using this platform that we all love and adore. What are they doing? How are they looking after their users, learners, students, however you want to describe them, and how each individual person is using it to look so wildly different, yet using the same tools. And this week I've got Nicola with me. So hi, Nicola, good to see you.
Hello, hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you very much. So for people that are watching this, and this will be on our YouTube channel primarily, Nicola, do you want to just do a bit of an intro as to who you are and what it is that you actually teach using the Zenler platform, please?
Right, okay. Well, I'm Nicola Blakemore. I'm English, but I currently live in the south of France near the Spanish border, and it's a beautiful sunny day. The almond blossom is out and it's gorgeous. So, anyway, I teach people how to paint in watercolors. I teach them how to do it when they're here on a painting holiday, or I go elsewhere and teach them. But I also teach online as well. And this is where obviously the new Zenler comes in. And I've been doing online teaching now for about, it'll be coming into its 10th year, I think,
Oh,
soon.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been doing it for quite a while. So I've sort of, I know what people need from my personal interactive lessons with people in live lessons and holidays, but also online. It's quite a different story, understanding what the needs are to help them improve.
Cool. Okay, so I always ask this question because it fascinates me, people's histories, how they get to the point where they go, actually, I'm going to teach you how to do something, whatever that may be. When we go through our young adulthood, early teens and all of that, we have this wild idea of what our life will be, what our career will be. And often when we get to a certain point where we teach something, it isn't what we thought it would be. So I like to find out, what's your pathway through to getting to the point of teaching art the way that you do? Is there anything interesting that's cropped up? Was you always an artist? Um,
God, you do ask some difficult questions, Kevin. Good Lord, it's a bit early in the day for that. No, well, I've always been creative. I've always done something creative, crafting, what have you. But I've been through stages in my life where career was more important, or relationships or family was more important. So it's been, my art has been a bit like that, a bit hit and miss. But it's always been there, and it's manifested in either making clothes or decorating a house or that sort of stuff. But it was actually when I moved to France, I moved at rather a difficult time. And invention is the mother of necessity. Is that the right way around?
that's it.
I started teaching because I had to do something. And that's when the painting holidays started. And then I learnt about the online stuff through, can I mention Udemy? I've
Yeah,
mentioned it.
yeah.
Yeah, that was where I started. And that got me going and helped me to understand the process. And obviously moved on, and now with New Zenler, which is just brilliant.
Cool. No, I do like to throw that one in there because as when we get to the point where we teach people stuff, there's normally a little bit of a story there somewhere as to why we do what we do. And especially I know the creative world, lots of people, that art has been a part of their life forever, as far back as they can remember. So, it is interesting to find that out. And the painting holidays sound amazing, by the way.
Oh,
Are they
thank you.
things you run regularly?
Yeah, well, I haven't for the last couple of years, obviously, but they're picking back up. But I did have one lady who is one of my students online in Mississippi, and she came last year.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was 85 years old.
How wonderful.
And she came all the way for, she said, I've had your tuition online and now I want it in person. That was great. But, I started looking at what other people were doing, and I realized that I had a better communication avenue, that I had better, communication skills basically to get ideas across. And that's why I decided to do more of it.
Yeah. So you talk about you started off on Udemy.
Yeah.
You know, lots of people start in lots of places, but at some point you found Zenler. Do you remember how you found Zenler?
Oh, crumbs. Well, it was a the only thing that was good about Udemy was that they did the marketing.
Yep.
They don't pay you much, but they do the marketing. So, that, as we know, is the hardest bit, getting your product across. But I was trawling through the various groups on Facebook, and different things came up. And then the Zenler one. And I thought, oh, that looks good. And I think you transferred the courses, which made it even better,
That's right.
because I've got about 40. And I thought, oh God, the thought of having to, move everything across. And the more I delved into New Zenler, the more I realized its capacity for doing so many more things, so many more things. Do I now need? I was thinking of getting my own app the other week, but you've got it. So, why do I need my own app? Or you use New Zenler. So, you've put so many different components in, that it's just a question of working out how to use them all effectively.
Yeah. No, I get that. And, it is quite common where people do tend to start, especially when they've been doing courses for a while, they start somewhere and for some reason they decide, actually, I need something different. And we get a lot of people come from different platforms over to us. And then they tend to hang around because they quite like what's happening there, which
Yeah.
is lovely. And we've got an amazing community. If you are watching this and you've not yet come into the Facebook community for Zenler, it's an amazing place to be as a course creator, especially as we have people all around the world that may be working on their own a lot. And they really immerse themselves into that, and they don't feel quite so alone, which is really important. So, and I see you're nodding there.
Well, I mean, I live alone, so you can, I might not speak to anybody all day, darling.
Yeah.
I've got 2 cats, but they're not that, they're not that communicative. So this online stuff is a solitary thing, but being an artist is to an extent as well. But this online learning isn't going to go away. It's just going to get bigger and bigger, I think. Certainly is, yeah.
I think so. Okay, so you've come along, you've had your courses up running, you've moved over to Zenler. So let's go a little step further, and we'll have a look in a minute at what you've created on Zenler. And Zenler, when it was first launched, it was always built as a learning management system as its primary function, but it was really importantly built for people that are not technical. We don't want people that are coders or have to learn code to be able to use this system, which is why as an education team, we work so hard on showing people, click this button and it does that, to teach people how to, because we should be able to learn it ourselves no matter what your background is. Even though I'm in marketing, I'm not a coder, yet I can use this system well. And I've met so many people that are in a world that's not related to tech, that have built some really astonishing environments online for themselves, their business, and for their students. So I want to have a look at what you've done to date, if that's okay, Nicola. And if you want to just give us a little bit of a tour around what your site is, where you've got students and what they're learning.
Right. Okay.
Really cool.
Right. So I'll share my screen with you,
yes,
Kevin. Thank you. I'm a bit slow with this. All right, there we go. I am not one of those techie people, as you say. So this is it. I called it Painting with Nicola because it seems the obvious thing to do, really. So that's what I've done, and I've got all sorts of goodies up here. You've got beginners courses. I've been doing some live interactive on Zoom with people, which is quite complicated, but it's a lot of them like that. It just depends on the time zones. You've got to be able to catch people at the right time of the day to capture those in the States. Australia, I'm sorry, you're just not going to get in. I just can't manage that way, but I usually manage to catch both the east and west coast of the States. I've done stuff like how to paint a dog portrait, a 3-course bundle there, one particular painting, and a lot of things they tend to center on something specific. like a lot of people, are very nervous about working with dark colours. So that is a learning for that. A lot of people want to go and paint on plein air outdoors. So this is one for that course to do that. One on perspective as well. But the one that is exciting me the most at the moment, if I just take you back up, is the paint box. And the paint box is a group I have set up. I sent out a survey to all of my students listing, what do you have the most trouble with when you're working with watercolors?
Yeah.
And it was, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is that? And I got all the answers in. And so it gave me a stepping off point to put this group together. And they subscribe to it. And it's a monthly thing. And it's going really well. So that's, I'm quite pleased with that.
Roughly how many subscribers have you got in that, Nicola?
In the paint box group, I've got about 24, I think.
Okay.
And I did it, well, I did it as a 90-day trial. You see, I can keep putting stuff out there, but unless students talk to me and say, I'm really having trouble with this aspect, I don't know what they need. So I started off with saying, okay, I'm going to give you a subject every month, so they haven't got to worry about what they're going to paint. They just do it. Yep. I have an instruction video, what they'll need, brushes, what colours, any techniques, and I send them to my YouTube channel as well if I've got a specific technique that will help them. And then they submit their work back to me, and I do them a video review. Oh. So it's quite a nice little package, actually.
And you're charging $35 a month for that?
Yes, yes.
That sounds really good. No, I like that. And what I really like about that, and we get asked this question all of the time, is how do I create a membership? Right? Everybody asks us because the recurring membership is, something that creates a little bit of stability in a course business rather than
exactly
create, build, promote, sell, create, build, promote. So it's quite exhausting for a lot of people. So the membership where people pay a recurring fee is probably the biggest question we get asked. How do I know what to do it? And I think you've nailed it in such a concise way, far better than I've ever explained it. You just ask your people, what do you want?
What do you want? What do you need? Yeah. And some of them said, well, I don't have time. Well, I'm sorry. There are some things. And a lot of it, Kevin, I tell you, is here.
Yeah.
Their resistance, their fear of failure, their fear of not being good enough and all that. I could do a whole nother platform on the psychology of creativity. So that's it. So what I've tried to do with this membership is to make it easier for them to actually do it and enjoy it and not feel it's going to be perfect, So I'm hoping that's going to take off quite well.
Yeah, I really like that idea, and I like the way that you've approached it. And I said to you earlier before we came on recording this that I really like your course cards. Now, everyone watching this is probably, but Nicola's an artist. But it's about the way that you lay out what you're doing and the message you create before you even write any words on the paper, because it's such an important thing to visually see, because we look first and read second. So to look at this, and I look at this site, and the very first thing I went was artist. Right, I know I'm on with an artist. That's the very first thing that I saw here. It was as clear as day. And I pointed this out to you, the sunflower one.
Hang on, where is it?
That one's gone.
There it is.
That one. And I looked at that and I didn't read anything. I was just looking at that and I said, that teaches us how to paint sunflowers. Am I right? And
yeah,
it does. So I think the lesson here, which is really, really important, and for all of us, is if we're going to create courses, make it obvious what the course is about before they read what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I used to work in newspapers many years ago, and a picture speaks 1,000 words, doesn't it? And what I do and I'm happy to help anybody out if they've got a problem with this, but what I do when I've made the course, I take snapshots of what's in the course.
Yeah.
So people can immediately see what it is, and keeping a consistency you know, keeping your logo there and having something that's instantly recognizable. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I love that, and I really like your site. So
Thank you.
let's move on a little bit onto your students, because obviously, as a user of Zenler, you like the platform. Clearly, it's working for you. It's generating you some revenue.
Yeah.
You've got some students in there. So let's talk a little bit
Sorry,
about
can
this.
you hear that cat meowing?
Oh, I don't mind.
Are you okay? All right, just a minute, darling.
I've got a cat myself, and when she's in the room, we call her Zen Cat. She will literally just jump on my shoulder and just stare.
Oh, really?
Amazing.
Mine usually walks in front of the computer. Yeah.
I used to just digress slightly, because
Sorry.
we used to do webinars, and
Yeah.
my dog used to snore through the whole webinar. It was amazing. And everybody loved our webinars, not necessarily because of the content so much, but because the dog snored.
Yeah, yeah. My cat Bruno, her brother. Everybody says, "Where's Bruno? Where's Bruno?"
But it is part of who we are. It's part of what differentiates us between other
Yeah.
people in what we do, is the whole thing about who we are, what we do, how we are, and things like that. And a cat meowing. If you ever come on any of the live things that we do, Liz has dogs that will often bark. Rakesh
Yeah.
has got a dog. Buddy, a beautiful Labrador. He's often seen about. So I think it's really important, those things. But getting back onto the point,
Right.
let's go back to the student perspective. So obviously you like the platform, you're here, you're using it, it's generating you revenue, you've got students in, active students in, which is important. What would you say, from your perspective, has been some of the most useful features of Zenler that you use that you couldn't work without? What's, been really, oh wow, that's been a bit of a game changer for me online?
Oh, the flexibility of it in so many ways. You know, the coupons and things like that. That's very flexible. It lets me do what I want to do. And the fact that you've got all these other aspects, the like subscription, things like that. There's a lot of versatility. And now I mean, I use Canva for my cards, and you've now incorporated that, haven't you?
Yep.
And the Zoom as well. I haven't got to worry about using my own Zoom that runs out of time. You know, so these sort of things. There's a lot. I'm still learning an awful lot, but I've got, I've got the bones of it. So I think it's a good platform. And from what my students say, they seem to find it, user friendly on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next point. Is obviously we want our users to be happy. Is there anything they feedback and say, "Oh, I really like what you've done with the live interactive class," or "I really like the app," or is there anything that they particularly come back, especially from a visual point of view, because obviously you're showing someone how to do something? Is there anything they go, "Actually, that works really well for me. I like that you've done it that way"?
They do like, some of them have missed the live groups. I've got a little club now, I've got somebody in Switzerland, somebody in Qatar, somebody in the States somewhere, but they're sort of like my mates,
Yeah.
And when are we going to have another live? It's more like a coffee morning, this sort of thing. But you've got that flexibility with Zenler, and I think that's very good. I like it. You know that you can keep everything in one place. You haven't got to learn something else all the time, because there's only so much space in the old hard drive, Kevin.
And the thing is, the more outside integrations we have to put into something, the more it detracts us from what we're actually trying to do, which is teach what we love teaching.
Yeah.
So if we're constantly having to learn stuff, it becomes a bit of a drain, a bit of a, oh, I've got to go and do that. And it's, whereas what you should be feeling is, oh, I love going into Zenler because I can teach this, or I can put this course in, or I can do, and the tech bit is sort of secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's much, the wheels turn much smoother. I think that's true. Yeah.
Perfect. Right. Is there anything else you want to show us on your site? Anything else that looks interesting?
Well, it's just full of gorgeous stuff. I mean, what can I say? For goodness sake. There's a taster. This one's quite fun. A taster. It's only 30. Oh, is it cheap as that? Good Lord. What I did, I took a course from, I think it's 10 of my top selling courses, a sample lecture from each one, and put those together there. So that's fun. Um, this is very valuable if you're a painter. It's all about colour values. And by that, I mean the intensity of the colour, how much water you put with it, how much you don't put with it to get that variety and drama. So that's a cracker. This one's nice if you want a bit of something different, trompe l'oeil, basic skies. And there's a complete beginner's course, how to work from your photos, urban sketching, trees. That's a nice little course. I like that one. Oh, and chickens. That's fun. One of my students sent me loads of pictures of chickens so I could build the course. So, it's just got loads of yummy stuff on it. And if you are getting stuck, then please do join the monthly get together, the paint box, because that's looking good. I think I've got the right note with it. And what I shall do at the end of the 90-day trial, I'll do another survey and we'll have a group meeting, a Zoom thingy, and say, okay, what's missing, what's working, what isn't? Because you've just got to keep asking the questions, haven't you, Kevin?
You have. Okay, so if you want to stop sharing your screen for a minute,
Thank you.
we're going to wrap up our interview now. So
Right.
my last and final question for you, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
Obviously, you've been teaching for a while now. You've transitioned from in-person to online, and you do a bit of both now. Probably going to get your painting holidays back again, and you sort of have that magic mix of combining the both, which seems really interesting. I love that. For people that might be watching this that are new to course creation, they've not done it before. Most people come in from I've only ever taught face-to-face in-person environment. What would be the one thing that you really stands out for you about being online? What advice would you give them?
Can you be a bit more specific, Kevin?
Yeah. So
Sorry.
you've gone from pretty much teaching face-to-face only. You've now gone online. You've done that for a period of time, quite successfully. You've got your membership club, etc., and all of that. So somebody new going into the online world, teaching something, what would be your best piece of advice for them?
You've got to find where your starting point is and don't cram too much into one course, depending what your subject is. When I did my first beginner's course years ago, I put too much in. If you can sort of think about it in sections, because you don't want to work your socks off and send that out and then you've got nothing else to give. So think about it as a whole and divide it up if you can. And for your cards, these cards, make sure you get a constant throughout so that people will recognize it immediately as you teaching whatever it is you're teaching. Is that the sort of thing you were?
Yeah, no, I think it's spot on. And I see a lot of people that are quite random in what they do with the way they lay out stuff.
Think about it.
I'm a bit OCD, as in I like stuff quite nice and tidy and neat and organised. Sarah, my partner in my business and my life, she's a little bit more creative, and she's very random in what she'll do because she'll do it because she likes it in the moment. So I think it's good advice. Keep it so it's instantly recognisable. Keep it on brand if you can.
Yeah,
it's good. It doesn't have to be, overly complicated. But yeah, I think that's good advice. And certainly with the courses, and I've heard this so many times where people feel that they have to do 1,000-hour course as an introductory course because they're charging for it and they want to deliver value, and value equals size. And my view, and I think it probably aligns with what you're saying, is that's not necessarily the case.
No. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the customer always buys you.
Yeah.
If you can build up a rapport with your students, hence I had Doris come from Mississippi. She'd been following me online, bless her heart, for years, painting. And last year she came, 85 years old, flew across from Mississippi, drove here.
That's amazing.
She was an absolute hoot. If you're there, Doris, darling, miss you. Love you. She was crazy, crazy woman. But this is it. She said, it's you. That's what people are buying into. So that's what you need to be able to get across.
Yeah. And as an instructor in whatever we do, it is so important because everybody has their own style, and just embrace your own style. I think that's, for me, one of the most important things. Don't try and copy the way someone else delivers the training. Just be you and do it your way. And hopefully with, people that relate to that will come along in your world, and, maybe they'll come over from Mississippi for you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. So no, I really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that. So for those of you that are watching, if you are got this far, then please do look below the video. You'll see a couple of links there that link out to Nicola's site. So if you are in the world of looking to explore painting, watercolors, all of those types of things, go and have a look on Nicola's site and let her know. And she's obviously very contactable as well online. So if you need to reach out, feel free to do so. But for me, Nicola, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you along. Thank you so much for your time. This has been another awesome Pro User interview. So thank you from everyone at Zenlar, and we'll see you on the next Pro User interview.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Have a good rest of your day. I'm going to have coffee on my terrace now.
Awesome.